Hello, welcome back to Kit Corner, and today I have got a kit that is one of my favorite types to build. It is a garage kit, a figure garage kit. This one comes from Japan, and I don't really have a box to show you because it's a garage kit, but you know, it's going to be of Mara Jade from Star Wars. Mara Jade from Star Wars. So we will. I will take a look at it and let's see what it looks like. All right, here's all my pieces. This is all cast in a white resin. So, and there's multiple pieces, and there's even a couple of alternate pieces. I know they came with 2 different lightsabers. I get to choose which one I want to use. And different things that you can have the Jedi robe, cape, or whatever, or without. So I get to choose that. So one of the first things you need to do with the resin is the pieces usually have, or almost always have, like little sections that from the molding that need to come off. So I find the best way to take those pieces off is with the knife I use is a saw blade, basically. It's a small little hacksaw saw blade, and I can get in there and I can easily take off exactly what I need, no problems. I find that works out very well for me. So I'm going to take out the pieces that I need to take out. And then once I get those pieces taken out, I can go in here with an X-Acto knife. I can go in there and clean it up a little bit. And then I can take a file or some other things to get in here to get it more smoothed down. Then after that, I'll just go through here with some sandpaper, and I'll get that all sanded down and get it smooth. And you might also want to get get through here and get some of the areas where some seam lines. You might have some seam lines from where the casting is. You might want to go through there and sand those down too. So this entire process could take a while. So this is all the preparation. And also you want to go through and make sure the pieces fit correctly. Like that was the head. So there's the head. You want to make sure the pieces fit correctly and there's no gaps. So you want to test fit all the pieces. Because now's the time to figure out whether or not you need to, what needs to be puttied and what doesn't need to be puttied. So this is the time when you have to do that. So I'm going to go through here and sand what I need to sand and trim what I need to trim. Alright, I have finished the sanding. I have finished removing any of the excess parts and sanding, and now I went ahead and I washed all the pieces with soap and water. That will get rid of any of the sand residue, any particles, loose particles that might have placed themselves on the figure with the sanding, and also any type of residue that might have been left over during the casting process. So yes, after that's all over with, I also did a sealing. I sealed it up. I sealed it up using a sealer. This will make it so that the resin the paint will adhere to the resin much better. So I'll put that on there and I sealed it up. And it's all dry now. Now I'm ready to paint. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the flesh tones. So I'm going to pull all those pieces out that I need for flesh. So I'm going to start with that. Again, I got a nice flesh tone color right now, and I'm going to use that as my base coat. Alright, I got the fleshed cones on. This is a base coat. Of course, now I'm going to go through and do a wash. Of course, a wash is you're going from lighter to darker, so we can get into the deep shadows of the piece. So, yeah. So let me go and do the shadow. Let me do a wash. I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the base coat, color from the base coat, and I'll just add a little bit of dark, a little bit of black to it. Just a little bit. I want it a little bit darker, but not a whole lot darker. I don't know if you could tell, but there is with the wash. It highlights the shadows, makes those deeper. Don't want it too heavy, so it wasn't really that dark of a wash, but it's slightly there. I'm still letting it dry a little bit. So while I was letting it dry, I went ahead and started painting put my first coat of paint on the robe. Now, with that pretty much dry, I'm going to go ahead and do a dry brush. I'm going to dry brush it with a lighter skin cone that way I can pull out the highlights, and then my skin tone should be finished. Now, there's what it looks like with the dry brush, all the shadows, and with the wash and everything else. So the skin tone is finished on the face. I still got a little bit on the arms to do. But, yeah, so there's the face. Now, this kit, it's the first time I ever had one, it came with it, but this kit actually had water decal stickers for the eyes. Now, I, for one, I'm not going to use those, because to me, one of the funnest things about this kit, about building models, these figure models, these resin figure models, one of the fun things I find the most joyful is actually painting the faces. So I love painting the eyes. So there is no way I'm using the stickers. So yeah. So the first thing I'm going to do is around the eyes, I want to paint the eyes pink. Oh, I get a pink that's actually not dried up. That one's all dried up. So I'm going to say a bright of a pink, but I'll use it. So I'm doing a little bit of pink in the eyes. So that's a little bit darker of a pink than I normally like, but it will be fine. And I'm going to paint. While that's drying, I'm going to use some white. And I'm going to paint the teeth. Just paint the teeth inside the mouth. This is the reason why acrylics is so nice, because it doesn't take that long for it to dry. In fact, the eyes are probably, yep, they're dry enough for me to do what I need to do. So I'm going to take the white, and I don't know why I'll just put it up, but I'm going to take the white, and now I'm going to paint white, and paint the eyes white. Try not to cover up all the pink, but I want to paint a majority of the white of the eyes. The pink's just there to give it, make the eyes look a little bit more realistic, because everybody has a little bit of pink around their eyes. So this is, the pink is just to go around, just a little bit of pink around the eye, just to keep it, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. I know this model was made to be a little bit more of an anime style figure, but I've painted tons of anime style figures before, and this is the way I always do it. Never with this darker of pink around the eyes before, but I'm kind of liking it. Yeah, that's fine. So there's the white on the eye. Yeah, I'm liking that. Looking pretty good. And while the white is drying, I'm going to go ahead and grab some red, and I'm going to do the lips. I think that looks pretty good with the lips. I think that looks, yeah, that looks good. Sometimes you just have to know when to stop, because if you mess around with it too much, you might screw it up. Alright, so yeah, I like the lips. So far I'm liking the eyes. I'm going to wait off on trying to do the eyebrows, I believe, because I like them. As soon as I figure out how I'm doing the hair color, because I'm going to paint the eyebrows the same as the hair. So it comes down to, I need to try to figure out what I'm doing with the hair color first before I figure out, I need to try to figure out what I'm going to do with the hair color before I do the eyebrows. Yeah. Well, that one turned out pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry for a moment, and then I'm going to let me dry brush the rest of these arm pieces, these arms. They look like they're dry now. All right, for her eye color, I'm going to, her eye color is a green blue. So I am going to, more like a greenish blue. I'm going to mix some color up, try to get her eye color correctly. Alright, I'm going to take my small brush, and I'm going to take some black. And I'm going to mark out where the iris and where the eyes, where she's looking. So I'm going to mark out the eyeball where the color needs to go. So it looks like that. I'm going to let that dry. Now I'm going to take my color, I'm going to do a blue first. And I'm going to go, I want to cover it majority of the black, not all of it. Maybe just like the outside edge of the black I will keep. Kind of like what I did with the actual eyeball itself with the pink. I'm doing it with the blue first, and I'm going to go in here and cover that blue up with this color that I mixed. It's kind of like almost like a dry brush type of deal. That way, it gives it. It should hopefully make it look like the way I want it to look. All right. So that is what that looks like. Now, that won't take that long to dry. And with that drying, I'm going to come back in here with this paint that I mixed. And I'm going to, just a little bit of it, I don't need a lot, and just kind of like do a small dry brush over that blue. Just a little bit. Not an awful lot. Gives it the hint of green in it. Now, with that done, I'm going to take my black, and now I'm going to put the iris in. There you go. That's with the iris. Now, one of my favorite parts is I'm going to take white and now I'm going to go in here and I am going to put just some white circles over the iris. Those are almost done. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in here, try to put a little bit of black highlights around the eyes, just a little bit, not a lot. Basically, to make some eyelashes. I don't want to do too heavy with this because I'm actually liking the way it looks without it. So just a little bit, not too much. You need a really thin brush for this. Well, maybe not. I'm not liking that. No, I'm not liking that. I'm going to go over that. No. I like it without it. It's making it too anime looking, and I don't want it to look like anime. So. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. Other than that, I think the eyes are done. So now I just need to add is the maybe a little bit more brown here. So, but now one thing I'm going to do now is with the eyes is the eyebrows. But I'm going to wait until I'm going to wait until I get the start doing the hair color. That way I know exactly what's the what color the eyebrow should be. So yeah, because normally I do paint like a black around the eyes to for the eyelashes and stuff, and I'm not doing that this time because it looks a little bit more realistic, and this is supposed to represent more of a real person than an anime character. So I'm going to go that route. Even though the picture they have, the sticker they had has more anime eyes, and the picture they have has a little bit more anime-ish style. I'm going to go with the list of an anime style. So yeah, face is done, except for the eyebrows. There's the neck. And there's a shoulder. There's the other shoulder. And 2 arms. So those pieces are, the arm pieces are done. They just need to be sealed. Plasticness, the paintness needs to be sealed on those. And the face is almost done. Like I said, I just need the eyebrows. As soon as I figure out what I'm doing with that, I will finish that. So yeah, I'll probably continue on, since I've already started it. I'm going to continue on painting the cape, and I'll probably start moving on to, might as well start moving on to the hair. Might as well. That way I can finish the face up. So, hair. Okay, there's the hair. So, let me go ahead and start that up. Alright, I have decided to do a base coat of the hair with a true burgundy color. It's a really kind of a dark red. So that will be my base color. Alright, I did the base coat of the hair. I also finished the base coat on the cloak, and I also went back and I fixed the armbands on the arms. I had forgotten those earlier, so I really had to move back through and fix those. So those pieces are now actually officially not finished. Now I'm going to do a wash on the hair. I'm going to go darker again to get the shadows. Now I've already mixed the darker red for the wash, but that is the color that I'm going to be using for the eyebrows on the face. So I'm going to go ahead and paint before I do my wash. Paint the eyebrows on the face. So that right there will give you an idea of what it's going to look like with the hair. So, yeah. So, with that, the face is finished. I want some really heavy shadows in the hair, so I'm going to be very generous when I put the wash in. That way, I can make sure I get all of the shadow that I want. Alright, now I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to start working on one of the lightsabers. It comes with 2 lightsabers. It comes with Mara Jade's lightsaber from the novels and stuff, and it comes with Luke Skywalker's Luke Skywalker or Anakin's lightsaber. If you know about the history of Mara Jade, you know why she would come with that. I decided not to use this one. I'm going to use her standard purple lightsaber from the books. To do something a little bit different, I found this liquid chrome pen, and it's supposed to be able to do chrome. And I've been really looking for something to really do chrome pieces, and hopefully this will turn out well. So I'm going to try this out first. Well, I must say I am very happy with that chrome pen. That is like the best. I've tried different types of chrome paint, and it has to be one of the best I've seen so far. That is amazing. That actually looks like chrome. that, I'm still waiting the hair dry because it's going to take a while. I'll put a lot of wash on there. Okay, the next part, which I'm going to be painting a light blue. It's going to be the part of the bodysuit here. And I'm going to go ahead and paint that. I'm going to do a base color. I've already figured out what base color I want for that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, I finished the wash on the hair. And I finished the chrome on the lightsaber. I also finished the, I went back through with the wash on the robe because the robe was just the wash was a little too dark. So to fix that, I went ahead and I went through and I did a dry brush of the original color on the robe or the cape, and to mute that down a little bit. And other than that, and I finished the base coat of the blue, of that one blue. So now I'm going to do a dry brush of the hair and see if I can get that done, get that finished. For that, I'm going to take a brighter red color. Now, Mara Jade in the novels says her hair is a golden red, which I don't know exactly how you do a golden red, but I'm going to do some red here, a bright red, and I'm going to mix some yellow in there. It will make an orangey red color. Yeah, that looks pretty close to what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and use that color to do my dry brush. Now, I'm just going to do this really lightly. I just want the highlights. Alright, with the hair done, that's what it looks like with that wash on there. Alright, with that done, I'm now going to do a wash on the, a dry brush on the cape. Alright, to have the hair have that little bit more of a golden tone to it, I'm going to just take some yellow and do a dry brush. The yellow. I'm just going to take that and do some very light highlights to the hair. Not a lot, and just let it blend in a little bit. I just want a little bit, not a lot. I don't want it to make it look actually yellow. I say that piece is done. Now I'll go around and I'll do the rest of the hair pieces. Okay, I went through and I have sealed some of the pieces. I still got the hair in here to seal. I went through and I painted some of the other stuff. I also like the stand, and I finished up the lightsaber. I really like the chrome, how that turned out. And I finished up and I also did a wash on the blue there. And so now I'm going, and I also went through and I did the bracket on the little, on the scarf there, or the rope. And I started working on the goggles. I used the same chrome as I did with the lightsaber. I'm really liking that stuff. So I went ahead and used that. Now I'm going to do a dry brush on the blue. I've already mixed a lighter color blue, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. That's all finished with the blue, with that lighter blue. And now I'm going to go, I've also started the painting the gun, so that's going to be black. And now I'm going to start doing the other section of the suit, which is a darker blue. So I'm going to, I have to mix that. I found a color that was relatively close that I wanted, but not quite, so I'm going to darken it. I'm going to go ahead and do that. There's the head. I still got a few more pieces of the hair to put on it. Other than that, there it is. Now, I finished the base coat of the darker blue on the bodysuit. And now I'm going to do a wash. Right, that's what it looks like with the wash. So now, while I let that dry, I'm going to go ahead and do a dry brush on the gun, finish that up, and which I've already pre-coated as with black, and I'm going to start painting the blade of the lightsaber, which is going to be purple. So I can start doing that. Now for the dry brush of the darker blue, I've decided I was going to go with this lighter blue, which is a slightly lighter blue with a metallic tint to it, metallic paint. I'm going to dry brush that onto it, except for the gloves. The gloves I'm going to use the lighter blue, but without the metallic. They're basically both the same type of color. Alright, that's what it looks like with the dry brush. On the boots, it has a trim of silver, so I'm going to go ahead and put that trim down right now. Here's what it looks like. I'll go ahead and do the other one. Alright, the boots are all finished. And with that, the only thing I have really left to do is the brown straps and brown straps onto the figure. And so I'm going to go ahead and paint the base coat for those. Alright, I finished all the belts. I also did all the silver parts that is required. I did the belts. Finished the goggles. Now, when it comes down to, and I finished the lightsaber. Now, when it comes down to varnishing, normally I use a matte varnish. This is what I use right here on this lighter blue. But also I have a glossy varnish, which is what I use in the darker blue. So I got the two contrasts on the varnish. So that really makes it pop out a little bit more. So now it's on to assembly. Well, there it is. One of the interesting features with this one is that I've made it so the head can be removed, and the cape can be removed and replaced with an alternate piece that came with it. Well, there it is, and I think it turned out very well. These are the type of models I tend to really like to build currently. It's been a while since I've built one, and this took me about 4 days to build. So yeah, I think it turned out very well, and I will catch you next time.